monster came from. All we know is that he's angry and that he is here to destroy.
You better watch your step. A crush warning is now in effect. Coming through, no regrets for the cities he wrecked. Total devastation. The mission and its statement. Watching body y'all come with villainy for entertainment. We'll take a basic riding in the dirt, break his back and laugh at him with a smirk. Go across the skyline, world champ 2 times. He's got the microphone, sit back and listen up. HEELKAIJU Radio, pull a chair and turn this shit up.
Welcome, everybody, to the HEELKAIJU podcast. I'm your host, Spotted Menace, and we have a big show for you today, so let's get started. First of all, I'd like to introduce everybody once again. It's going to be my sister, Daria, who's back from the hospital, so everybody give her your love. Show us some love. What's up, Daria?
Hi, guys. Can I say something? I must say, I miss my bro furries. So I'm so glad to be here.
And
That better not be a term that catches on or something.
Oh God, I swear. She's already starting on my nerves. I should have just left her back there.
Oh, but I think that was pretty awesome. You guys, my bros, and we're furries. Bro furries.
Oh God.
I like
Indeed, I am a furry.
Yay!
What's good, Danny, who is now apparently Lunch Bunny Lewis? What's up?
Hey man, what's up? You know, ever since I discovered my persona of Lunch Bunny Lewis, life's just been so much easier for me.
Y'all are really making it hard for me.
Because I'm ready to eat.
I swear, KD, help a brother out, please. Help me out with a good sign on. Help me.
I got like a bunch of carrots here. I mean, like, you know, Lunch Bunny gotta eat.
Num.
So we lost all of our cool points.
Do you mind like emailing me some of those carrots?
And we also have a special guest with us, Wendigo, who is kind of in the shadows right now, but you're going to hear him throughout the podcast. So say what's up, Dingo.
I'm just like doing more important things, like reading about werewolves and stuff.
Oh, thank you for that vote of confidence. That was,
you know, the WWE could do a lot with a werewolf gimmick. I mean, it was like they have a song from John Darnell's. They might
isn't that basically Ember Moon?
Yeah, I mean, she kind of is already like a werewolf gimmick.
Yeah,
like she just has eyes.
But yeah, she's pretty much there already. I mean, like, you know, Ember Moon.
Yeah,
and they got like they got the rising moon that comes out. Yeah. My brand.
Can I tell that story, Devin? Can I tell the story?
No, we're gonna get started, okay? Because like y'all are already usurping my reign, so we're gonna get started.
Oh my God!
With some good news, and I said that I was going to talk about before we actually started broadcasting. I got some good news, or some really good news actually. We already have our website launched pretty much over the course of this weekend. HEELKAIJU.com has been acquired. Already have a few of our episodes up there, making it much easier to keep track of all the stuff that we're doing. And also, we are going to, hopefully by the end of next week, have our first few shirts available to purchase. And we're going to be, most likely, my sister and I, Daria, are going to be wearing that during the August 28th edition of Monday Night Raw here in Memphis.
Yay!
Woo! Shirts? We got merch.
Yeah, we're going to have some merch.
Oh, we're going to have merch. Lots of merch.
Oh my God.
We're getting the designs finalized most likely over the next couple of days. And then once we get the set, we're going to have them available to roll out and, you know, I'm building an empire here.
You'll be able to spot them on that episode of Raw because they'll be the ones talking in casual voices and not just sitting on their hands, not saying a word the entire episode.
Oh man, those are shots at Memphis.
Even Daria will tell you, for some reason, like the crowd is just, what is up with that crowd?
I don't know.
I
don't care because I'm like the only one screaming.
Yeah, she kind of is. Like, again, I've told that story before. Like, we're all going nuts, and we hear this dude behind us, like a couple rows behind us, just like continuing to try to get the crowd to chant, and you hear a very loud shh from somebody in the crowd, and I'm just like, what
the hell is this?
Don't stifle my man's enthusiasm. Let him
know.
go crazy.
Whatever.
I'm
So-
actually,
so-
I'm actually
Trying to watch wrestling.
Yeah.
Oh man, like
Bruh man
You can't
got
be too
shushed.
noisy.
Bruh man got shushed at the FedEx Forum, and I don't know how I felt. Like his chants weren't like the best chants ever. I'm going to put that out there. I'm not going to say that he was like, you know, one of the best guys that you would love to have, because I'm pretty sure that in any other crowd he would probably annoy the hell out of you. But at the same time, when he's the only one really trying to get the crowd going and you shush him,
I hate that people like that exist. You know,
Yeah.
I just hate it. I hate that, like, not the guy, but the guy that shushed him, because it's just justification for all the really dumb things in other sports. Like, have you ever seen like an NBA game where like over the loudspeaker they're always like, "Let's make some noise"? And in my head, I'm like, yeah, of course we're gonna make some noise. We're at a sporting event, but no, apparently not. Apparently not everybody is like that.
yeah, I'm not gonna lie, because like it's hard for me to get like overly enthusiastic at sporting events. Not because I don't like it. It's just not in my nature. It really is. I'm a laid back kind of guy. So I kind of fall back on the crowd taking that responsibility upon themselves to get loud. So like whenever I hear "let's make some noise," I'm basically just like throwing a thumbs up. It's like, yeah, y'all go, crowd. Y'all do that thing. But
That
like, yeah, I know not you. But like
Knock
when
yourselves dead.
I'm at like a WWE event here in Memphis, I feel like all of that pressure is now on me, and I'm cheering out everybody. Even I felt dirty. I even cheered JBL when he came to the ring, because everybody.
Yeah, I felt
did
bad too.
I felt
I know.
bad.
I know. I felt
Y'all
bad.
should hear about our Boston experience with JBL. We booed JBL out of the goddamn building.
Yeah, but
We
like
don't
Boston,
even do that.
but Boston is rowdy and loud to
Right.
begin with. So like you don't feel that pressure building up inside of you as everybody sits on their hands for like some of the best matches out. Like we had a cage match and nobody was doing anything. I think it was, holy crap, I think it was Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns in a steel cage.
A great match, probably.
It was a great match and nobody was saying anything.
Man, you know how bad JBL is? He was the first white man to ever get booed at the Boston Garden.
Wow.
I have nothing
Okay,
to say to that.
let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and get started. We got a few topics ready to go for the day. Matter of fact, this past Friday, if memory serves me, this past Friday we had the 44th anniversary of hip hop as a genre. You know, they celebrated that with a Google Doodle where everybody could, you know, scratch on Google's main page and crossfade and pick various vinyl records and put it on there and just like experiment with some DJing and basically learn not just the craft but a little bit of history. And since we are, at least a few of us are, some fans of the genre, and this is, you know, kind of a big thing, I figured we spend a little bit of time just talking about some of our much more favorite moments in hip hop, and mesh it in with a little bit of wrestling. Like, for instance, Danny, Lunch Bunny Lewis, what's up?
Hey, man. Lunch Bunny Lewis. I am the living personification of hip hop mixed with wrestling. If you want to call anything Lunch Bunny Lewis as hip hop, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what we're going for.
But how about you start us off?
Uh,
What is your favorite album or favorite albums?
My favorite hip hop albums of all time. Well, my favorite hip hop album of all time is probably Late Registration by Kanye. But I think the best hip hop album of all time is still Illmatic. Like,
right.
For sure, Illmatic by Nas is, like, it's one of the rawest sounding albums I've ever heard in any genre. I can't think of an album that I think better describes its setting than Illmatic. Nas's like rhymes are just insane on that. Like the fact that he mixes some crazy multis with like insane storytelling as well. Oh, like yeah, Illmatic just blows me away every single time.
Yeah, from what I remember, it was a pretty damn complete album, not as well. You know, how can you be raw and complete at the same time? And Nas kind of did it.
Yeah, man. Nas, like, his career is kind of plagued by bad beat choices, like, not really any hooks. Like, Nas's career outside of Illmatic, and it was written, not that great, but he put it all together on Illmatic, for sure.
Oh, yes, he did.
Yeah. I was just thinking about a lot of my favorite hip-hop albums today, and another one I'd always list is Aquemini by Outkast.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, for sure. Like Aquemini by Outkast has my favorite verse of all time on the title track, Andre's last verse, where it's just like he's just motoring through that son of a bitch. And oh man, it has tracks like Aquemini, it has Rosa Parks, Return of the Gangsta, The Art of Storytelling Part 1 and 2. Like man, the art of storytelling Part 1 will bring me like a tear to my eye every single time. And I think that can be kind of rare in hip hop nowadays. Like a lot of it can sound really great, but to get that emotional reaction out of you, I don't know about a lot of guys that are doing it now. There are a few for sure.
Yeah.
So it's like, it was really cool to always be able to experience that. And of course, if you're going for like crazier stuff, you always have like the newer artists like Death Grips who are putting a new kind of tilt on hip hop, mixing it with like insane noise and all that kind of jazz.
You know, that's one of the biggest issues I've had with the hip hop, you know, over the years is there seems to be like a few lulls where there's not a lot of experimentation. You know, like there's peaks and valleys. I should really say there's peaks and valleys over the years where it's like for a good almost a year, everything kind of sort of feels stagnant, and then out of nowhere you got people mixing it with electronica, noise, as you said, throwing in some metal, throwing in some funk aspects into the genre, and really reminding you why the genre is so dynamic and is so
oh god, yeah.
Like I mean the difference between Good Kid, Mad City and To Pimp a Butterfly, like
oh god,
yeah,
he went a completely different direction, and I think those are almost equal albums to me, but it was just incredibly impressive that he was able to like the first half of To Pimp a Butterfly is like fusion jazz rap.
Yeah,
it's so cool. It like, oh man, I can't get over it because Good Kid, Mad City was like the ultimate like it was like a newer era West Coast sound, just like dark, grim. He mixed in some of those classic G-funk sounds. It was perfect. And then you're like, all right, what's he gonna follow it up with? And it was like just straight like fusion jazz rap for like most of it.
Okay. Okay. King Dead.
Yeah.
I'm
No,
good. I just ended up just cutting him right the hell off. My bad, bro. but King Dead, tell me what your take is on one of your more favorite albums.
Oh god, I can't even know. Like I'm just thinking back to like when I was just a little kid, maybe like around 10 or so, and just hearing like, you know, oh god, what was it? Like Paul's Boutique or Licensed to Ill. I mean, I know it's a white guy's thing to say, but the Beastie Boys were. It was like them and maybe the Fat Boys were my introduction to hip hop, I think.
Don't sell your short. Don't sell yourself short. I do have I got my dad's vinyl collection right here, and I know for a fact I do have one of the Beastie Boys albums on there. So it's like,
I mean, the Beastie Boys put out great albums. That's the thing.
Yes, they did.
They were fantastic.
They kind of did, yeah.
And then, like, goddamn on MTV all the time, Walk This Way, the Run DMC Aerosmith remix.
The only Aerosmith song ever.
Yeah, that was like the only Aerosmith song I knew until like the Alicia Silverstone videos started, I think.
Oh, man.
Oh, my goodness.
Let's not get into those videos.
No, and then, like, you know, later on I got into, like, you know, non-cheesy stuff. I mean, like Outkast especially. Like, you know, Stankonia, especially. I think like Bombs Over Baghdad was like my first. Like I've heard of Outkast before, but that was the song that sold me on Outkast. God, like I still play that song loud as hell if it comes on and I'm in the car, and that, like I am just like speeding when that song is playing.
It's one of the most hypest songs that you can get, and it's
oh god, like I'm sweating by the time that song is over.
Oh, that's amazing.
And that song has such a good contrast between the two members as well. Like it's Andre just like jumping at the clouds, and Big Boy kind of grounds you a little bit. And I feel like Outkast in general, Andre gets way more love than Big Boy, but we got to show some respect to Big Boy.
Big Boy is awesome.
He's one of the best rappers of all time.
Have you heard? Have you heard Big Grams? That was that mashup he did with Fantagram. It was like him, Big Boy, and Fantagram. It's this rock kind of trip hop act, and they put out this good ass album that no one really heard about. What was it, last year?
Man, I can't say that I heard that. I got to check that one out.
Yeah, they're like rock, like a bit more rock, but it's like a really good album. It's like no one really heard it.
Yeah,
he put out that Sir Luscious Left Foot solo album that just
he did.
Killed.
And what was it? Daddy Fat Sax.
Daddy Fat Sax.
Yeah,
I mean, I know people aren't like us big on like it as Stankonia, but still, I love the Speaker Box and the Love Below.
I think Speaker Box
is. I was about to give you the same hot take. I think Speaker Box was better than the Love Below. On it.
Well, Speaker Box was better.
It was.
Speaker Box was better, and then there's the modern hip hop scene. For some reason, like I'm really into Minnesota hip hop scene. For some reason, even though I'm not anyway connected to the area.
Who's Minnesota hip hop?
They got Doomtree, Sims, Atmosphere, Brother Ali. I love all those guys. Lizzo, Laserbeak. Who's that?
In that Tech Nine's like.
I want to say yes.
Or is it more St. Louis?
No, it's more like Minnesota. Like this is St. Paul.
Yeah. Okay.
No, but they have a lot of people that way, and it's like Dessa. Like I love Dessa's stuff.
Oh,
and, like,
I love me some Dessa.
Lizzo needs to be national famous. Like she's like on the cusp so hard, and it's like she needs to be at the top.
Yeah, that chick in Doomtree, she can write her ass off too.
Oh yes, she can.
She's a great.
No, but I love Doomtree, and Doomtree is one of those acts that just never got enough attention. I mean, I know it's basically like Wu-Tang, but for the North. It's like they're kind of like that, so they'll get together when they get together, and they keep saying they've had their last show, but like I'm guessing there's going to be something like Doomtree, like coming out here sooner or later.
Yeah, man. Like, all right. Honestly, even
and
today,
then,
I was. Oh.
No, I was gonna say of course, like Run the Jewels, all 3 albums.
Yeah, they seem to get better and better.
They got better. Like I don't know how it is, but they got even better. And they're so angry, but then they're like comedic at the same time. And it really works. It's like they got this like mix going on of being issues-based hip hop, but at the same time throwing in comedic stuff.
Yeah, man. They are funny dudes. They're seriously funny ass dudes. LP, like back in the early 2000s, was dropping some really
I mean, because
cool
people always underplay LP, I think, because Killer Mike is kind of the face of the act, but like LP is there.
He's a guy.
Well, LP does most of the production.
Yeah. I mean, Killer Mike's kind of the face of the act, but like LP, god dang.
Yeah, I mean, how could Killer Mike not be your face, dude? Have you seen Killer Mike?
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, he should be vice president.
The guy. Yeah. Killer Mike would have won.
Killer Mike would have won. You know what? I'm gonna have to start stealing that.
Killer Mike would have won. But man, even today I was thinking of some of these tracks from hip hop that really like get me emotional. Like real just like low self-esteem tracks too that a lot of people can relate to. And like I brought it down to 2 that really like get me. One is 30 by Danny Brown, which is the closing track on his Triple X mixtape. And it's just like, I think you guys should all check that one out for sure if you haven't heard it. All right. The other one is What's Up Fat Lip. Have you all heard that?
No.
So Fat Lip was a member of the Far Side, the 90s hip hop.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. But he pretty much, he was like the one that kind of didn't make that much money. He kind of fell into more drug addiction. He lived a pretty sad life. And Spike Jonze, who ended up producing a lot of their music videos, sought out Fat Lip and tried to help him make a new video get his fame back a little bit. And in like 2000 or 2001, he released an album called The Loneliest Punk, with the lead single being What's Up, Fat Lip. And it's one of the most self-deprecating songs I've ever heard in my entire life. Like, the beat is crazy. The video is hilarious. But like from start to finish, like his rhymes are just like the most self-deprecating things I've ever heard in my life. I think it's an interesting take and not something you hear a lot from hip hop, like to that extent. So I think that's a good one to highlight.
All right, I already pulled them up. So once we finish this recording, I'm gonna give a listen to them.
Okay, so I must change it up a little bit, I guess. I would have to say my favorite two hip hops was Salt and Pepper.
Wait, hold on one second. Two hip hops.
My favorite hip hops.
Your favorite
Your favorite hip hops.
My favorite
Yes,
hip
favorite
hop.
hip-hops.
It's like one of the kids' favorites, hippity hops. There.
Yes, I have to give props to that. I have to say, I would have to say Salt and Pepper and Missy Elliott.
Oh,
Okay.
hell yeah. I can definitely get down with Missy
I
Elliott.
love my sister, but she
What did I say wrong?
actually opened up her mouth, not mouth, and said the words salt and not pepper.
What's the names?
Salt and pepper.
Oh, Pepper.
Peppa.
Pepper. So where do I get pepper from?
I don't know. That's what's making it funny.
Okay.
Oh my god.
But yeah,
Well,
no,
you knew what I was
Missy,
talking about.
Missy does not get nearly enough love.
She doesn't.
Oh,
And
God,
she
Missy
was
is amazing.
awesome. Yes.
Yeah. An incredible
She's from the
performer.
area, so it's like, Missy Elliott's always at the top of like, top
Yes.
female hip hop artists.
What was it like the beginning of, I want to say last year, the year before that, where like, remember like toward the end of the 90s and the beginning of the 2000s, you had so many tracks on your top 10, top 100s where
Yes.
it was Pharrell, Timbaland, Kanye, and Missy Elliott just all on your radio waves.
Yes.
And like a couple years ago, that happened again where like Pharrell came out with some stuff.
Well, Pharrell never ages.
Oh, he's
No, he doesn't.
He's a vampire.
He's a
But, like,
He
vampire.
has to be. Like, there is no other way.
Like you don't see no crow's feet, and you
Nothing.
know there's no facelift happening right there.
No.
It's like you
With
can't
that.
have that amazing of a moisturizer game.
No,
He does.
What's cool-
he's sucking the life essence out of lesser pop stars. I think that's what's happening right now. That's what The Voice actually is.
Yes.
It's him trying to find like beautiful people, and when he goes to the back, that you just never hear from him again, and he's like, "Oh, I'm moisturized all over again."
Who wants a new nerd album?
I do. Fuck that.
Oh
yeah.
God, yeah, they're due for another one. It's like
Definitely.
he has no reason to even reunite Nerd, but god dang, I would want another Nerd album.
Shoot, you know what? After the past few days, I will take any new old tracks from like some of my more favorite bands. But speaking of that, I'm a Chicago boy. Like, so I got love for my Kanye, my Common, and my Lupes, and all of that. I love them. So that kind of paints where I'm from, because it comes from the era of the soulful beats and the somewhat conscious lyrics and lyricism that is just like so much fun to go along with.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Chicago's amazing.
yeah, you gotta love you some Chi-Town, and I gotta shout out to my people who are still in Chi-Town right now. But that's really where I got to go for some of my more favorite albums, like The Cool and as you said, Late Registration. But College Dropout, I didn't appreciate College Dropout or Late Registration when they came out nearly as much as I should have, but I keep going back to them. Common's Go is still one of my more favorite ones, if only just for
Common raps? I thought he was just an actor.
Common? D, we have to do an important thing, though. We have to do a very important thing right now. You have to rank Kanye's albums live on the podcast.
Oh my god.
Oh, that would have to be a special episode.
No, I could do that right here, right now. So I got to go Late Registration first. That's definitely first.
Okay.
College Dropout,
Ooh.
Graduation. Oh,
Ooh.
yeah.
I knew you were going to say graduation.
No. Scratch it. See, this is why we doing this live, so I can
Yes.
so I can check myself. So no, scratch that. I'll put Graduation fourth, and actually I'll put College Dropout third because I completely forgot about My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. So it was Late Registration, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, College Dropout, Graduation, and then I'm kind of stuck because I definitely want to put Yeezus over 808s and Heartbreaks, but like if you ask me tomorrow, that might flip.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
I was going to say, man, if Dark and Twisted wasn't in your top 5, I'd be pissed.
I know, I completely forgot about it because it's one of those things where I forget more things than I actually remember.
Top to bottom, that's one of his best. Doesn't have his best songs, but top to bottom, that's one of his best.
It is, and it has quite possibly the only good Nicki Minaj verse that I've heard in my life.
Oh yes, it does.
Yo, Kanye's one big talent is getting the best verses out of his guests. Dog,
Yeah.
Rick Ross spit the verse of his life on Devil in a New Dress on that album.
So here's the thing. I saw an article on Double XL when they were interviewing his name is stuck right on my head. He was in the clips. What's his
Pusha T?
There you go, Pusha T. See, I told you I forget more things than I remember, and I have y'all here for that reason. So they were interviewing Pusha T, and they were talking about the rigors that he would go through in a recording session with Kanye West. And he said he'd be in there for like weeks at a time, thinking that he hit the best lines of his life on his on what was his new upcoming album at the time. And every single time Kanye would step into the studio and be like, nope, do it again. Nope, do it again. So I can honestly see that, yeah, I can see why he could get the best out of everybody else, because like he may not be the best lyricist out there, and don't let anybody ever tell you that he is, because that's just a straight up lie. I love the man, but no, he ain't.
Wait. Who are you talking about now?
Kanye.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah, I'm about to say, it's like he may not be the best lyricist out there, but he can make you, he can push you to do something that you outside of him probably wouldn't be able to.
Yeah, I think Kanye is underrated as a lyricist. He's not an all-time great lyricist. He has an amazing flow. Some of the best, like, in my opinion, the best production in hip-hop. And just generally, like, makes the most complete albums, like, top to bottom. And
He really does. I have to agree.
like Kanye's greatest talent is, like, the finished product, you know?
It is the finished product, but when it comes to just straight up lyrics,
I mean, he's not one of the greats.
that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
But I do love his lyrics. Like, as a Kanye stan, I love his lyrics too. It's something that like you just get to. Like, honestly, I think
Two Words was his best.
I think if Kanye retired after the first 2 albums, he might be remembered more as like a great lyricist. As time went on, the lyrics almost became like a little bit less important because the production was just like so goddamn lavish. And the lyrics were always good, but he spits like hard on Late Registration on various tracks.
Addiction, probably one of my more favorite.
Addiction is incredible.
Matter of fact, I still remember it because like when we were still living in Chicago, it made it much easier to get copies of certain albums. Like I'm pretty sure that we got a leaked version of Food and Liquor from Lupe, like a year before it technically dropped. You know, if you knew who your come up was, like you could get like all these albums like before it happened. And
that's really cool.
And my dad managed to get a leaked copy of Late Registration.
Oh,
and he had Addiction playing on repeat for like the longest time, and he would even pull.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Listen to this. It's like he never did the backpack thing that a lot of backpack and underground rappers would do, where it was like, let me spit to you the ACT prep course, where let me throw out as many multi-syllabic words as I possibly can just to tell you that I'm sick. I got the sickest flow, because like his word choice was never like overly highbrow, but he was able to paint you a picture with what he gave you, which is one of the most important things, because just like a storyteller, anybody can hit Alt F7 on Word and give you like, you know, a screed from the thesaurus to make themselves seem intelligent, but the whole time it breaks up the flow and it's not nearly as palatable to the ear or as a reader to the eye as you're going through. However, like a good writer could still wow you with just like, you know, an 8th grade handling of language because they know how to paint you a picture.
Kanye, one of his biggest strengths as a writer too is the subject matter of his writing. Like, I know it's been talked about over and over and over again, but when Kanye came in, like, look at who the big stars in rap were, and Kanye's in here rapping about his family, sharing the bath with his cousins. He doesn't have to swear in his rhymes. He doesn't have to talk about killing you. He could just, like, you could just talk about regular people shit for the most part, and like growing up as a youth in Chicago.
That's basically the whole subject of family business, which is what made me fall in love with him. Because like everything else was great, and this was at the time that I had just came back to hip hop. I've actually spoken about it a little bit on my other website, which I'll throw the link somewhere down the line. But I used to do this thing for Hip Hop Hump Day, and where I talk about, you know, favorite tracks during the years, you name it. And I've spoken about my relationship with hip hop as a genre, where I basically fell out of love with it the very second that we got back to the States, because it was all shiny suits and bling bling and all that. And I just couldn't get into it because, you know, what my dad got us into was your Pac, your Biggie, your Scarface, your Roots, all of that. And then it was such a massive change of pace when we got back to the States, to the point where it kind of turned me off. But when I got older in high school, I got into it on my own terms and found, you know, a lot of the backpacking around hip hop scene, which, as I said, like, you'd have some people would have great beats, but not a whole bunch of great lyricism, and vice versa. And he was meshing them all together, but I still was trying to build up my palette when it came to but when it came down to the family business track that he had on College Dropout, that's when it was like, okay, so this is basically my family. He's speaking to me. He might as well be my cousin. And that's where I felt that connection with.
Man, I can't speak enough. That's one of my favorite Kanye tracks too.
Oh yes, it is.
The sample on it, incredible. Childlike, you know, like Wonder. It was. I can't speak enough on that. And it's cool as hell that you could make that connection to that. Like, I can't really connect to it on that level. I can more just like appreciate it from afar, you know. But an incredible track.
Well, once we finish recording, I'll actually I found the sample and I got it somewhere on my iTunes, so I'll make sure to throw that to you.
Oh, the glitter, it's not gold.
All gold is not reality.
Yeah. One more thing about Kanye. One more thing. Late registration. The track "Drive Slow." It's one of my boys' top 5. One of my boys' top 5 Kanye songs in his entire discography. And at first, I was like, I love that song, but top 5. I've re-listened to it a bunch. Yeah, you could put that top 5.
Yeah,
that has Kanye spitting one of his sickest flows ever, and Paul Wall, one of the underrated rappers of the 2000s. Dropping a sick ass verse. Paul Wall.
I forgot about Paul Wall.
Yeah,
he
probably went back to dentistry because that's where he got his stuff start from, making grills, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He went back to Paul Wall DDS. That's what happened.
He spits this line. What is it? God damn it. A young Houston hard hitter, all about the skrilla, riding sun candy coated, crawling like a caterpillar. And I'm like, that's hard as fuck to write. Like, my God, dude, you're killing it.
Okay, before we get off onto our next topic, I do got to say this: Kanye is completely underrated because he managed to get Boost Mobile looking cool just with that. Where you at? The whole city behind us commercial track. That's still one of my most favorite tracks. It is off of a straight up commercial because you got the Game, Luda, and Kanye giving you some just like some quick bars, and the beat was hard. I'm pretty sure, like, for a while, when you go to your bootleg, when you went to your bootlegger in Chicago, he would just out of nowhere just throw that track on. It's like, bro, man, I asked for a Busta Rhymes track. It's like, yeah. But you need to listen to this too.
Oh my God. He's like, a bad mobile company? I can't live my life this way. That's a real old throwback. That's a throwback.
Yes, you did.
Early Kanye shit.
let's move on before we start continuing to fillet Mr. West.
Yeah, we're just gonna make another rap podcast.
One of these days, maybe. But Friday also marked the 20th anniversary, since we're going to go right back to our wrestling. The 20th anniversary of D-Generation X. DX.
Suck it. I'll never forget their famous line, "Suck my," and then the crowd says the rest. Yeah, the crowd says the rest.
Suck my cock-a-doodle-doo. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a PG rated podcast. We can't say it on here.
Hey, I say cock-a-doodle-doo, okay? That's what roosters sound like.
Exactly.
But
Racist.
anyway, what? Where does that come from?
I'm just saying.
What happened?
Where did
What'd you
this
say?
come? You know what? No, we're moving on. Moving on. Favorite DX matches.
Oh,
If we can remember any, because that's 20 years. That's 20 years of matches. 20 years of DX with Shawn Michaels, Triple H, the New Age Outlaws, X-Pac, China. Am I missing anybody else?
the road to. Wait, did you get the New Age Outlaws?
Yes.
I said New Age Outlaws.
Okay.
Come on.
Oh yeah, Hornswoggle. Hornswoggle was in DX.
Oh God, that's
Yeah.
right. He was a DXer at the end.
Honestly, can
Oh
we
my
include
God.
God? God was closely affiliated with Shawn Michaels for a bit.
Yeah,
God,
but like he wasn't.
the ex-member?
It wasn't God crotch chopping down the ramp.
Yeah,
If
God-
you
God
went down
crotch
with
chops people
that,
every day.
I'll smite you. It's like God. That's not what you say. We say suck it. It's like I can't say suck it.
How can I say
God.
that? What can they suck?
So what are your favorite matches? What are your favorite moments, if you have any? If you have any, that is.
You do the big one
Generation
first?
X. Whichever one.
It's the fucking tank. Pardon me. It's the tank.
It's the tank, the
It's the
Norfolk
tank.
scope tank.
It's got to be the tank.
We can all agree it's the blackface, right?
Oh God.
Okay, so since you brought that up, actually, we saw Daria and I, we saw the table for three with Farouk, Mark Henry, and the Godfather.
Oh, we did.
The
yeah.
good
Yeah.
father.
Yeah,
But
I
where's
said the Godfather.
D'Lo?
D'Lo's actually, they said that he was working at his club in Las Vegas at the time, and he couldn't make
Oh,
it.
that's what D'Lo's up to. I was always
Yeah.
wondering what happened to him.
Yeah, well, he was in TNA for a bit. Both
Who wasn't?
yeah, true enough. I'm pretty sure I was in TNA for a bit.
Yeah.
Just there, just showing up, ruining the whole thing. But they had actually brought up the whole D-Generation X blackface angle, and all three of them pretty much kind of shrugged their shoulders at it because they knew that they knew who they were. They knew that there was no malice from it. And matter of fact, just go watch their table for three on the WWE Network. It's actually one of their better ones, even though all of them are pretty good.
No, I love Table
Yeah.
for Free.
Oh yeah.
But definitely watch the trio of Farouk, the Godfather, and Mark Henry on Table for Three. They give you a lot of insight, not just to being wrestlers, but to also being members of the Nation of Domination. And what it
I was
meant
gonna
for
say,
them.
is that the one with the Rock?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was probably one of my favorite moments because that was actually really nice how they
We are the
went into
nation
that. Oh
of
yeah,
domination.
oh yeah, and how the Rock got his start, and I
Yeah.
just thought that just brought so much insight to that, so I loved it.
But let's roll
Switching
it back
from Rocky
because-
Maivia to The Rock.
Yeah, that was one of the best things that they ever did for the man. But rolling that back because we're still on DX.
Mhm.
Actually, Ty Dillinger, I saw on Twitter, Ty Dillinger tweeted out a video of way back, I want to say 2008, 2009, where Shawn Michaels and Triple H were backstage getting ready for, I want to say, Taboo Tuesday. And they were typing out, trying to figure out who they wanted to face the most. And sure enough, Ty Dillinger was right there in the hallway, ready to eat a super kick from Shawn Michaels in 2009. And here he is right now, kind of not seen a lot on SmackDown, I must admit, but still managing to get himself over. He got himself over.
Yeah.
And, but it's always nice to see them go back to their beginnings, and there he is. Ty Dillinger is forever intertwined with D-Generation X.
Yeah, it was a perfect Sweet Chin music too. I remember dying at that.
It was funny. It's like, I just kicked Stan.
Love that scene so much. All those papers flying everywhere. He's just holding his stack of papers. He's kicked, and all the papers just go flying into the air. And it just makes the scene that much better. And then he's like, I just kicked Stan. And he's walking away and stomping. And like they turn to Triple H, and Triple H is doing his bestest not to laugh so loud.
Oh my god.
Sean
always had really good comedic timing.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I found him much funnier than funny. Wow. Listen to yourself. Much funnier than Triple H and most of their things, because he always had this charisma about himself, and he didn't have to slow down to speak out his lines.
Why did the chicken cross the road? And there's no. Please don't make me finish that joke.
I was actually gonna let you.
No, please don't. I was just gonna I didn't even have an ending for it.
But yeah, the Stan kick, and of course the tank at the end. Not at the end. Well, it pretty much was the tail end of Monday Night Wars. By the time that was happening, right? That was like right around 2000.
Yeah. Was it? I thought that was like 97.
Was that 97?
Like 98, 99?
You know what? I'm gonna fact check myself before you go on. Hold on one second. But yeah, it was.
That was after Sean.
After Sean.
Yeah, because Sean was booted out of DX, and it was just it was Triple H, China, and the New Age Outlaws for that long span there.
Trips and the boys.
This is true.
And China.
You know what? You're right. That was 1998.
I think WWE was still losing at that time. I could be wrong.
Yeah,
they were.
Yeah, they were. At that time, yeah.
But that was one of the big things that helped them end up getting the lead back.
Yeah, because it was that, and wasn't it also WCW trying to foil Mick Foley's win on Raw?
Yes,
that
yes.
kind of turned
Yeah, WCW.
That'll put a lot of butts in the seats.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
it's like Mick Foley with the championship.
That'll put a lot of butts in the seats, and everyone was like, we got to see that. They all switched the channel.
That empty arena match. I miss those stupid gimmicks. They never have matches like that anymore.
I know.
They really need to do that again.
Hey, what do you mean they don't have stupid gimmick matches? We just had a Punjabi prison match.
I know, but you know what I mean.
That wasn't a stupid gimmick match. That was a great
that was
match.
Stupid.
That was the best match ever.
It was a stupid gimmick match done really well. Like at least the last 10 minutes of it was great entertainment. Most of it was boring bullshit.
God, yeah. No, that last 10 minutes was hilarious.
It was a fustercluck of just amazingness that happened out of nowhere, because like the Singh brothers died, Khali hobbled down to the ring and didn't hurt Randy Orton. He just held him there for just a second.
Held him. They choked him unconscious.
Held him.
Yep. Until Jinder Mahal could get out. Yep, he did.
Yeah.
We were screaming for the Mahal, the Bollywood boys to run up there and get him. We were like, come on, Sings.
And then Khali just holding that belt like he's the new champion, and then Jinder trying his best to get the belt back away, but that wasn't happening.
Khali held up the title. That's one of the best moments in wrestling history.
It's like, yeah, I am the champion. It's like, you're really not Khali. It's like, you take it from me then.
Yeah, go ahead. Try to reach me.
Because when he was in WWE, he just would not raise his hands and just stare at the camera sometimes.
Yeah.
No. He raised his hands a lot. It was like the only thing he really could do was raise his hands.
You give him credit. He could lift his arms all the way above his head.
This is true.
I was very proud of him every time he did it. That's a good call.
All right. Our next topic is, what happened this past Raw was, it was confirmed that Bayley is injured and she is going to miss SummerSlam. And it was confirmed on a segment of Raw where she came out with her arm in a brace, and they had who was that? JoJo.
Yeah, it was JoJo.
Yeah, I think it was JoJo interviewing her and asking her thoughts on missing out on SummerSlam. And as the segment goes on, it's not a bad segment by any stretch of the imagination, or at least not one warranting the ire of the WWE universe. But as the segment goes on, the crowd starts booing her as she was talking about how, you know, she loves the fans. Like literally right when she starts praising the fans is when they started booing. And that really brings up one of the biggest issues that I think is kind of growing in WWE. I know we've remarked on it, you know, from time to time, is when the WWE universe, and by extension sometimes the Full Sail crowd, seems like they're only in the arena for themselves, just try to get themselves over. And
that's why I'm going tomorrow.
Yeah, that's why y'all going tomorrow.
Hey man, but Boston is a credit in and of itself. It's a weird place to be.
Y'all are a weird character of people in Boston. I have to say that much.
We're just angry all the time.
All the time.
We're not even trying to put ourselves over. We're just angry.
But my question is, when they try to get themselves over, when the WWE Universe, the Full Sail crowd tries to get themselves over, does it have an adverse effect on the product?
There is one night a year where the crowd should really go in there and shit on matches that don't really deserve it. And like, that's usually just like the night after Mania. And even that can get annoying. Like every other night, if the wrestlers are out there giving you their all, you should respect that. You shouldn't try to take the attention away from them. I'll let it slide a little bit the night after Mania because that's become almost a thing in and of itself. It's like the one night where like we're the show. But even then, like if the WWE is giving you good stuff and you're still crapping on it, it's annoying.
Calling bullshit on you. Calling so much bullshit on you.
Okay.
So the WWE has been asking for fan participation for decades, but if they can't control it, they don't like it. Like for a long time, they were like, hey, bring signs. They would show any sign. Now they're taking them away if they don't like the message. For the longest time, they would support, I think today is actually like the 17th anniversary of the What chant when he went into humorous, if you will. It's the anniversary of that. They loved that. They promoted it. They sold so many t-shirts of it. Now they can't pause anymore like this because then you just hear what, and they pushed for that. They pushed the freaking 10 thing, and now they don't like it when it doesn't suit their needs. Now they want to have the crowd support, them. They want the crowd to do the yes chant. They want the crowd to get super into it, but they don't want the crowd to do it and get themselves quote unquote over at the same time. Bullshit, WWE. You can't have it both fucking ways.
Well, thank you, Dinko.
Sorry.
I mean, like that actually does kind of raise a point because there does come a time when WWE is a little bit overbearing when it does come to the fans.
They're absolutely at fault.
Oh yeah, this is their doing. This is their doing. I'm not putting this all on the fans. This is their doing because, as he said, they do want them to do the yes chants, the what chants, to get fan participation in there, and then they lose the plot completely and totally, and it messes with the product. So this is more like we are a monster of their own creation.
Yeah,
a little bit. But like a segment that happened like with this Bailey segment where they got booed though is a fair bit different than the crowd going what. Like if they went what through during the Bailey injury announcement, I don't think there would be much of an issue because that's just what the crowd is. No, they just straight up outright booed her.
I don't think that's the crowd putting itself over though, booing Bailey. That's just them expressing their displeasure, which they have every right to do. It's like when I hear about like putting yourself over, I think of like when they're creating chants like "We are awesome" during like a match that was like during a match that's like entertaining. Like I'm talking about like that stuff.
Okay,
like just them booing Bailey, they're just viewing like displeasure with how they think Bailey's being handled, which is fair. That's how you got to react. You can't be like yes men to the WWE and be like, oh, we must cheer for everything they want us to cheer for. Like, because God, no, that would ruin wrestling. And that's never been the case, like, ever. So,
Okay.
yeah. This is just par for the course, I think. They're just...
Yeah.
I think they've kind of ruined her. I honestly just think that they have gone and taken her entire concept and they've ruined her. They made her look like a non-wrestler. They made her look kind of pathetic over a couple, things. She won the title. It was cool. She beat Charlotte, but she just looks pathetic. She needs like a bit of an edge. So when she started up her little, oh, I'm sorry, I'm injured thing again, the fans were like, boo, we want wrestling. We don't want to hear you crying again. I love
she's
Bayley.
annoying.
I love the concept. I like her as like a charismatic John Cena, but even John is respectable because he can freaking put up a match and you look strong. Bayley, they've looked like sort of a crying, pedantic pain in the butt. I love Bayley, but they need to give her a bit of an edge.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, since we're on the topic of injuries, I had a nice little question pinned up, and I definitely have to put this little caveat: you can't choose Daniel Bryan, but if you could find somebody in wrestling, not just WWE, but like in wrestling in general, if you could take somebody's career and remove injuries from them, who would you? Like whose career would you aid?
Hayabusa.
Yeah,
He was that one.
You went right for it. Damn.
Yeah, you knew.
I mean, he's the big one.
Yeah.
I mean, he was like a legend over in Japan. I mean, if not for that injury.
Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it. Like he just died recently. I keep forgetting that. Yeah.
Yeah, just last year.
Yeah, that's definitely a big one. You went yard on the very first one.
Yeah, you did it. You really did it.
Just took everybody's answers. Like Hayabusa, yeah, the guy that was completely paralyzed, that guy.
Yeah.
I'll throw. Can I throw I'll throw a couple out there.
Okay.
Like the two that I'm thinking of right now, and one is like really recent. It's either Shawn Michaels or Steve Austin. I think Shawn Michaels proved that he could come back from that injury and have great matches. But God, if we managed to get like more Shawn Michaels for like all those years he was out of wrestling.
Oh yeah.
Man, think about it. That would have been incredible. And Steve Austin was a great wrestler before he got injured. And he was still a pretty goddamn good wrestler after it. But he's the most charismatic dude ever in WWE, I think. Just the biggest star, you know what I mean? If you could keep his wrestling ability from before his injury while also having the insanity of Stone Cold, it would have been just lights out. Like absolute killer.
The way that he was in the ring after the injury, is just the charisma that he had.
He was incredible.
The story was amazing. It felt like a nice transformation. Who am I thinking of? Basically, imagine it like when Michael Jordan was getting older and older, and he changed up the way he played the game from ultra athletic and explosive to being crafty and incredibly skilled. That's pretty much what happened.
It sounds like you're describing a black player who turned into a white player. He went from explosive and athletic to crafty, intelligent, gritty.
Yeah, I'm using all the dog whistles right now.
You're using them. Oh my God.
Wow, I didn't even think about that. Damn.
The third person.
Like he's a journeyman.
The third person is someone I'm just really getting into Japanese wrestling, and I fell in love with him. I would just love to be able to save Shibata.
Oh God, yeah, that headbutt that kind of ended his entire career and nearly killed him.
He was well on his way to becoming like my favorite New Japan guy. I'm incredibly new to it, and it just like to all of a sudden lose him is just awful, just terrible. Yeah. So I would love to be able to save Shibata from injury, and I'm not sure how he's going to be moving forward. I hear there's a little bit of hope, but I don't want him to risk his health, you know?
Yeah, no, not his life and his well-being. Well, since we're spreading out from just injury to freak accidents and everything, what we we were leading up to WrestleMania this past year was we watched a lot of old WrestleMania and a lot of the old WWE product. And like the fact that I've been sort of an on wrestling fan for a while, I never actually got to see this guy wrestle up until that point. And when I did, I fell in love with him, and it was super tragic that, you know, we never really got to see his career play out. And that is Owen Hart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if we could have
It's not so much an injury, that's more of a splattering.
That was like just a freak accident.
I prefixed
He
it.
explained it.
I literally did. I was right there. I said, since we're not just doing injuries, but also freak accidents.
Or less of a freak accident, it's more of a, you know,
Well,
A freak accident. How was that not a freak accident?
well, I get what Dingo says. Like, if you could save a wrestler from injury, you can't save a wrestler from like death. Like, he's dead.
Yeah, he's dead, but at the same time, it's still a freak accident that happened through wrestling. It's not like I'm saving Junkyard Dog, you know, his whole career.
How
I'm
did
saving
he even
something-
die? I don't even remember. I thought
Was
it
it
was
like a car crash? I think it was.
Was
a car
it?
crash.
Wow.
If we go down this route, then you could say like Benoit, like save him from like CTE and murder.
Now we're extending that way outside. He died in the ring. Okay, he died in the ring doing something that was related to wrestling. So you can't throw that out there. Damn. Yeah. Junkyard Dog died in an accident, car accident. So, but yeah. So it's not like I'm saying I'd like to see what would happen with Junkyard Dog. It's like, no, he was in his prime. It was an in-ring thing. It was related to wrestling, so it fits.
Yeah.
All right, Daria, give us yours.
I still feel bad for Bailey.
No, when we were in
I
the
know
hospital,
we're bored with Barney. I know.
but wait.
In the hospital, I did say Daniel Bryan too, but except
No,
Daniel
you
Bryan,
also
but-
said Kurt Angle.
Oh, and Kirk Angle.
Kirk Angle. Wow.
I am sorry. I did just get out the hospital. A lot of medication.
Yeah, Kurt's a good one.
She's on medication. Just because she's on medication doesn't mean she wants Kurt Angle's brother Kirk to make it in ring.
But I did want to say
recovery.
Kurt Angle because I thought Kurt Angle was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he got injured during the tail end of his run with WWE.
He was.
Then like he still put on some amazing matches. It was just in an organization that like I don't know if anybody's ever going to see them again because we don't know what's going to happen with TNA from day to day. Yeah, they've gotten much more stable, but like the whole time I didn't want WWE to buy TNA. I just wanted them to buy their library so I can see that on the network because we are missing out on some great matches with AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Christian. I would say Jeff Hardy, but I still remember that match he had with Sting. That was a complete and total.
And I was going to say that, Derek. Oh yeah, and I was going to say that too because like those,
but you know, Kurt getting his career saved probably would have completely changed the trajectory, not just of his career, but also possibly of WWE and TNA.
I was going to say that with the WWE because they did like a backstory on WWE with Kurt Angle, and I do want to see it.
Yeah, that WWE 24. We'll watch that. In a bit. But continuing to switch gears so we can keep this thing rolling and we're not completely and totally leaning on topic or off topic. I caught up with 205 Live. Has anybody else done that? Like taking the time to binge watch you some 205 Live?
Unfortunately,
braver than I am.
I know, because unfortunately I was in a hospital and I was supposed to be watching it with you and I did not get a chance to.
Okay, I don't know what the hate is, even though I understand it at the same time.
Right. Daria, I'm gonna throw something out there. I think I'd rather be in the hospital than have to watch 205 Live.
Wow!
I knew you were gonna say that.
Wow, Danny,
what the fuck?
Danny, don't be a heel. I mean, be a heel, but
We're HEELKAIJU.
Be a heel with some integrity, man.
Oh God, Derek. I mean, Spike Minutes.
Be a heel with some integrity. But I did catch up all the way through with 205 Live, and from what I did see, I was entertained. There was some actually pretty good wrestling matches. They stayed on story. They kept stories going from match to match to match. They kept their continuity going. And honestly, it actually was a fun time. Now, watching it after SmackDown and making it the 6th hour of 2 days worth of WWE wrestling programming is a horrible idea, because I still probably will never watch 205 live. But
terrible,
I watched it.
Terrible.
Yeah. I don't think I could do a 6th hour of wrestling watching in 2 days, especially not WWE. But I watched it with fresh eyes. I binged it all the way through, like, since the July 4th edition of 205 Live, and I watched it all the way through. I enjoyed the wrestling. I enjoyed the storytelling. There's a lot of charisma. There was a surprising amount of charisma there, despite the fact that the audience was sitting on their hands throughout each and every match. But it was still some great matches, some legitimately great, technically sound matches that happened there on 205 Live. But the reason I bring it up is, since we definitely have our biggest heel in Danny going terrible. It's just terrible. TRBL, terrible. since that's his opinion, what would you do, Danny, to make 205 Live something much more palatable, not just to you, but to the fans, to make them want to watch it on the network?
You changed the question too much. I was just going to say cancel it.
Wow!
You described it. You described your question too much,
Wow,
so I can't say that
what
anymore.
The fuck?
Send all of the cruiserweights to other promotions and cancel 205 Live.
Wow,
Oh, man.
Just going right for the jugular.
Yeah. Maybe, like, you know how, like, how many matches are there? Like 3 matches on 205 Live every week?
About 3 matches, yeah.
Okay, have 2 of those matches actually have a story behind them, like going in, and not just like, you remember this guy from last week? Well, he's going to wrestle guy you haven't seen in 3 weeks for nothing. Only the main event has a story.
Here's the thing, though. Like, since July 4th, they've done that. They've actually done that. Like, I can't think of a single match where it wasn't linked in some way, shape, or form to a story that happened on the previous week.
Well, then it's changed a little bit from the last time I watched.
Admittedly,
a while ago.
That's what I'm saying. It's like since July 4th, that's where I started it, and that's where I felt the transformation happen, because that was right around the time the Titus brand started linking itself up with 205 Live, and because of that, you've had some great matches with Tozawa and what's his name?
Neville.
No, not Neville. Their third partner in their triple threat for the cruiserweight title. Can't remember his name. Daivari.
Oh God.
Yeah. So they've had some great matches between Tozawa and Daivari. They've had some great matches with Mustafa Ali and Drew Gulak.
I love that name, by the way.
Mustafa Ali.
Say it again. Say it again.
Rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, but
Say it again.
It's a fun name, Mustafa Ali.
Yeah. I mean, plus the fact that, like, he's not the standard, I'm the evil foreigner gimmick.
Which actually made it perfect, because like they've had some a best out of 5 series, if I can recall, which ended in a best out of 3 match, 2 out of 3 match between Gulak and Ali, over the fact that Gulak said, "Hey, nobody should be a high flyer. I am the most technically sound guy because I'm not a high flyer." Going against Mustafa Ali, who has amazing aerial moves. They've had that story going on. What else? They thankfully finished up the whole Alicia Fox angle, which has opened up the fact that, again, I'm horrible with these names. Noam Dar, there we go. Noam, I'm horrible right now. I'm completely horrible. I don't know what's going on. But Noam Dar basically lost lost, gave up the Alicia Fox title.
Yeah, he vacated the Alicia Fox championship.
Yes, he vacated the championship, and he went from Alicia Fox the whole time to basically being a butthead millennial, to the point where he had a match with this jobber, and he had the crowd, the usually non-vocal 205 Live crowd, chanting "Let's go jobber" at the end.
They were also in Canada, where they cheer who they boo, and they boo who they cheer.
Well, true.
It's wacky world out there, Michael.
But he still cut a pretty good promo, basically saying, it's like, I remember you when I was a kid, and you're still trying to break into the business. I'm 22 years old, and I'm already here on 205 Live, but hey, good luck. And
that's a good dick promo.
It was a good, just being a piece of crap. And I loved it. And the crowd got behind the jobber. The jobber, of course, lost. But like they've had some storylines going bit by bit by bit by bit by bit. Like right now, it's Rich Swann and TJ Perkins having these quote unquote friendly competitions where TJP is beating Rich Swann legitimately, but still being an insufferable tool when he does it. So he's not shed that I'm a heel persona, and Rich Swann is still looking like an underdog, but it's making it work. So there's a lot of storylines going on right now in 205 Live that made me happy that I actually watched. Again, it happened all from the 4th of July on down, but it's made me happy that I've watched the product. I still can't watch it live because, again, that's too much wrestling in 2 days.
I will say a big problem with 205 Live is just it doesn't feel important at all. Like, what does everything on 205 Live build up to? What's the most important thing it builds up to? The championship match between the champion, whoever his challenger is, Neville, whoever. How many of those matches have we seen relegated to pre-show? How long have they let those matches even go?
There you go.
This is supposed to be like the height of 205 Live, is building to this big match on the wrestling pay-per-view. Sometimes doesn't even get aired on the pay-per-view, gets aired on the pre-show. Sometimes it's two talented guys that let them go like 10, 12 minutes. And that's everything they've done for a month, built up. Like you work Austin Aries for a month to fight Neville. They have like 3 matches that were good for how long they lasted, but could have been a lot better. Could have been a lot better if you let them actually have time. And it's just that just shows how little the WWE is actually trusting or caring about any of this. And if they don't care about it, like, why should we care about it until they start?
Okay. So, like, I think on our last call, I brought up something that maybe, just maybe, having much more of the focus be on the title during 205 Live rather than where they have it right now, where it just kind of happens out of nowhere on Raw, because there's no lead up to a cruiserweight match on the Raw. It just happens.
Oh, that reminds me, Raw is supposed to be an advertisement for 205 Live, right? Like what you see on Raw is supposed to get you excited for 205 Live Tuesday, right?
Yeah, supposed to be, yeah.
How the hell are we supposed to get excited from what they're giving us on Raw? It's like, it rarely makes any sense. There's like no build up to it. There's no promo really. And how long? It doesn't last long at all.
No.
Yeah. I mean, I would just still rather 205 happen, like, do it at Full Sail. Do it like, pair it up, have it air after NXT or whatever, like, back when they had the Cruiserweight Classic going on. I mean, it's make it a weekly show, but like, tape them all one go in a month and let the guys tour or whatever. Yeah. But that way they're not trying to do like, garbage matches in front of a non-caring audience. I'd rather have the Full Sail audience that at least, can get interested in stuff than a dead crowd after a SmackDown.
Yeah, because like... Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
The WWE, too, they don't appreciate the talent they have. This is a real alternate reality in the world right now. Kota Ibushi and Zack Sabre Jr. are working 205 Live. That is a real alternate reality world. Meanwhile, in our world, Kota Ibushi and Zack Sabre Jr. are destroying it, just having amazing matches on a giant stage in Japan. They have talent similar to that. Neville is incredible. Austin Aries was incredible. He was smart. He left. Jack Gallagher can put on some amazing goddamn matches too. They have talent, and instead of letting them go out there and have the amazing matches that they should be having, it's just they're constricted. There's so much wasted time.
Wait. How are they? How are they constricted? They're putting on good matches. The problem is
in 10
I don't
minutes.
get the matches. And all right, I don't get the times. Most of the time I watch, they're usually like at least more than 10 minutes, which is okay. The problem I have is not the matches; it's the storytelling. But they're putting on good matches. The problem I have with 205 Live is it's after SmackDown. It's after the SmackDown pay-per-view main event. I've already kind of checked out, and it's at 10 to 11 o'clock on a Tuesday night, and I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
Well, here's also a thing, because as I said, it's happening after SmackDown, but it's also happening on Raw, like through these little matches. One thing that used to annoy the hell out of me before they stopped doing it was you would see the crews come out to put on the purple tape and throw up everything like, hey, here's the cruiserweights, and here's a 4-minute match that ends in a roll-up. That doesn't matter. And it's like, what was the point of that? But like right now, as I said, from July 4th, they are putting on lengthy matches on 205 Live. I'm talking like that best 2 out of 3 falls was at least 30 minutes long. A match between matter of fact, a match between, I believe it was Tozawa and Daivari was like at least a good 15, 18 minutes. They're putting on some great lengthy matches that matter. It's just that 205 Live in and of itself doesn't matter. And they need to find a way to make the show matter. The matches have been great storytelling, amazing in-ring and out-of-ring work. They're putting on some pretty nice promos that make me care about the characters. They included somebody who was coming from outside of the cruiserweight division in Titus O'Neil. They're including him in the Titus brand, which is also adding another flavor to it. It's just that 205 Live and the cruiserweight division in and of itself doesn't matter. WWE has to figure out a way to make it matter to the fans. But so far, it's just they're okay with letting them languish when it comes to the rest of their products.
You know what else is like a little underrated part of why people might not care as much about the cruiserweights? Like, remember in WCW when the cruiserweights were like massive? It was a massive part of their appeal.
Yeah.
Because of how much they differed from the main roster.
Oh God,
WWE, the main roster, it resembles a little like much closer to what a cruiserweight would wrestle like than it ever has. You know what I mean? Like it's definitely way more similar. So sometimes you like look and you're like, this isn't all that much different from the regular show, but there's like no storytelling really. There's like no good promos. It all builds up to like bullshit.
Yeah.
You know,
When you
like,
got somebody like Roman Reigns going over the top rope like every other match, it's like, okay, you got a tiny guy that does that, who does a flip and makes it look great. Okay, but I also got somebody who's like 6'6", 250 doing almost the exact same thing. So why do I care about your side of the product when I can get pretty much the same thing as something almost as or even more athletic than what you're showing?
That's true.
Yeah, exactly.
So hopefully WWE can find a way to figure out a way to make it better and make it much more entertaining for the fans and make people want to tune in, because honestly, it's something that you should tune into. I again recommend watch it after the July 4th edition. Everything from then on out has a story to it.
Oh
Go
God,
ahead,
they've done a better job.
But hey, hopefully WWE does something. But switching gears once more, we've got some good things happening. So pretty much everybody here plays games. Definitely plays some games. We got the new WWE 2K18 coming out at the end of October of this year.
So stoked for that. So stoked.
Well, there you go. You answered one of the questions. How hype are you? But 2K18 is coming out. They just released some new gameplay footage. One of the biggest things that is happening with this, with the new iteration of this game, is the fact that there is no last gen. There is no 360 release. There is no PlayStation 3 release. It is all new gen. And because of that, they've been able to completely ramp up their graphical capabilities of the gen and the PC to the point where it's night and day on these side-by-side comparisons. On SoundCloud and on the website on HEELKAIJU, I will drop the video so you can take a look for yourself, see what changes that is happening. What else are they doing with it? They said that they're going to be changing up the new promo engine. They said they'll be changing up new assets so the belts look different. They changed up the audio of the game to the point where it's no longer, thank God, no longer JBL and Jerry the King Lawler on the sticks. It's still Michael Cole, but it's Michael Cole. See, again, I'm
Phillips?
horrible.
Is it Tom Phillips?
Yeah.
Is it Philip? Is it Felipe?
It's I believe it's Tom Phillips and Corey
Felipe
Graves.
is there?
God
See, that's a
bless
good
Tom
team.
Phillips.
So you got them. You got JoJo now doing the in-ring announcements.
Nice.
Yeah.
So it's going to look different. It's going to sound different. Will it play differently? We don't know because
We do not know.
what's happening is they're holding off. Usually right around the time of SummerSlam is when they start releasing actual trailers and roster announcements. You name it. That's what's been happening for the past few years. What's happening now, though, is at Insomnia 61, the UK Gaming Festival on the 26th and on the 28th, they're going to be giving them a first-hand look at the new gameplay features, at new trailers, at all the stuff they've got so far. Now, my biggest question is, again, how hype are you for this new game?
Not hype until I see gameplay.
Yeah.
I gotta say one thing.
man.
Say one thing. Before this goes any further, I have to do the podcast thing. I own shares in Take Two Interactive, and one of my good friends is the sound engineer at 2K Sports. So that's my hair off the chest. I know I have to do that, or you get yelled at. Bullshit.
So
Dingo.
that's when Dingo helping us out, making sure that we don't get sued.
I think it's serious. Just like I hear it in podcasts all the time. It's like ethical bullshit.
But yeah, I can understand the hesitation. I definitely can, because
There's a lot wrong with the game. There's a lot good. There's a lot that's great about the game. It looks amazing. You can tell, like, that looks like it's going to be one of the prettiest console games out for sure. The customization features in the 2K games are very fun. You could create your own promotion. You create your own pay-per-views, do all that stuff. It is super fun to, like, build a universe for yourself in that game. But do you want to go and actually play in that universe? The gameplay lacks for sure. So if they can fix the gameplay, they're going to have a monster on their hands, because everything else is better than it's ever been. But, I mean, if you're trying to tell me that, like, WWE 2K17 was more fun to play than, like, Here Comes the Pain, you got to get out of here, man.
here's the thing. I funny enough, I think I still have Here Comes the Pain in a little game book of discs somewhere,
it's
and I
amazing.
kind of want to play that again, because I really want to play some of the older games. And that actually is one of the other questions is what is your favorite wrestling game, WWE or otherwise?
Here Comes the Pain, for sure.
Here Comes the Pain.
Yeah, people who are older than me probably going to say No Mercy. For me, it was Here Comes the Pain.
Oh,
Here's the thing. I've never actually played No Mercy, and it's one of the biggest failings in my gaming resume is I never actually got it. I got close to playing it once. I had a friend bring their N64 over, and we spent more time customizing than actually playing the game. And by the time we got to our second match, he had to leave, and that was the last time we ever had it. But one of the games that I think is completely underrated because it has some features that were ahead of its time, to the point where if that game came out now on new gen consoles, I think some of these features would be able to flesh out a little bit more and make the gameplay and other aspects of the game much more fun and dynamic for the player. Was SmackDown 2. That was technically one of the first wrestling games I played outside of, your WrestleMania arcade and some of your what was it, Saturday Night Smash think of it.
Saturday Night Slam Masters.
Yeah,
I love
Saturday
the
Night
hell
Slam
out of that
Masters.
game.
That was one of my favorite ones. But like,
Mike Hagar was in that game from Fatal
oh yeah,
Fury.
he was
The wrestling mayor.
But like
The wrestling mayor.
yeah, but like SmackDown 2 had some aspects of the game that if you fleshed them out on a new gen console, it would be amazing. Like it actually had certain things like, hey, you could have a background for some of your characters, like a brawler, boxer, bodyguard, stuff like that. You could put that on there. You could face jobbers, and when you face those jobbers, you got their assets that you could use later on in the game. So if it's like, oh hey, this guy has awesome boots that I want to wear, I want to try those out, you had to beat them. You had to play it and beat them. It had the first like actual true career mode all the way down, and with cutscenes. And it even had cutscenes for some of your created guys that they would just insert into the game. Like it had a lot of things that I, as a guy who spends more time, actually love to customize, and I do actually playing games sometimes. It had a lot of those little inklings there that made the game enjoyable. So that's definitely one of mine.
So I'm gonna love on the SmackDown too, because I have the same memories. I spent hundreds of hours with that game on the season mode and the creative player mode. Just so much fun. I had a lot of good memories because you could have a co-op season or a co-op. Yeah, was it season? Yeah, co-op.
It was a full on season mode with careers, with branching elements.
Yeah. So I would play the hell out of that game with my brother. Like I know a lot of kids that they'd play like all these games with their siblings. We played fucking swearing, awesome, Richard. We played SmackDown 2 forever, and it's drop in, drop out. It was awesome, and that is like couch co-op's kind of dead, but that was awesome.
Well, you also spent like hundreds of hours because the load times were hella long.
Yeah.
But yeah, SmackDown 2 is probably one of the more underrated WWE and wrestling games out there. Period. I had fun with it. Still probably could have fun with it. I think I have it on my memory card somewhere with some of my guys. So yeah, there's that. But
KD, tell us about one of those old Atari wrestling games.
God damn you. My oldest wrestling game that I think I remember is WW WrestleFest. Or WWF WrestleFest, I should say, back when it was WWF in the old days. And it just was like the most cartoony ass looking thing in the arcade, but I loved it. They had like basically a Royal Rumble mode where you could throw people over the top. And they had like, it was all hand drawn animation, and they had the WrestleMania carts that would take the wrestlers to the ring and everything, and they would do their little do thing. And it's like they get into the ring, and like, you know, Hulk Hogan would do his poses and stuff. And I loved the hell out of that game. I wasted so many quarters on it.
Oh my god! Everything you said just gave away your age.
Oh my! Shut the hell up!
I wasted so many quarters on it.
I'm punching you so hard tomorrow. Like, you better pick what side you want to sit next to me, and that's the side that you were going to be hurting from.
And they
tomorrow.
had the old winners don't do drugs logo on the arcade game when it would start up.
No! Oh my god!
You know what?
That
You know
game
what?
was fun though. Like if you ever get a chance to play that game, check out that game.
That's the thing. It's like that's one of the biggest problems with gaming nowadays is the fact that we have so many old nostalgic games that we could try to play, but please try to play it without spending a small fortune.
All right, I got two for you here, right here. I remember in college, I took my buddy Matthias's PlayStation 2. Yeah, him. And I got SmackDown 03 just for the GM mode. And I loved every freaking second of it. And that's not the game. I love that game. But that's sort of like a couple years after SmackDown 2.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about is Total Extreme. Hey, puppy. Total Extreme Wrestling. Have you guys ever played that?
No. Wait.
Oh, wait. Is that the one that Galactor is playing right now?
Yup.
Yeah.
It's basically spread wrestling. It's really difficult at first.
Or TEW.
Yeah, it's Grey Dog software, and it's really difficult. Like it took me probably about 10 hours just to get the hang of it. But once you do, you make your own stories, you make your own plot. You write up your own stuff. You are literally Vince McMahon, and crap happens. Like I remember I'm playing the damn game, and one of my wrestlers just kept farting, and another wrestler didn't like it, and they get you a fight, and you get to figure out what you want to do. Farting. Like, it's text-based. It's 100% text-based. You decide who wins or not. You can make it a shoot fight. You can just say, go do whatever you want. And I've spent probably hundreds of hours just sort of in this virtual world, making virtual characters, having spreadsheets of who I want to push, who I don't want to push, who I want to be happy with, who I want to laugh at, what I want for my, biggest event of the year, my own WrestleMania. Taking like a really awesome brand, like there's mods you can bring in, like professional players.
Oh,
My brand.
Yeah.
is this the Grey Dog software one?
Yes, I say Grey Dog.
Okay. I have this game too.
Try that out.
I have the mixed martial arts one, which is also great.
Martial arts one's not so good. You can't pick who wins in the mixed martial arts one.
Well, yeah, because it's mixed martial arts and not wrestling.
Yeah,
But that's by its own nature not the same thing.
this is like I want to be a director, or I want to be Vince McMahon. I want to be Vince McMahon the simulator. Wrestling is Dana freaking White. I don't want to be Dana White. No one wants to be. Dana White doesn't want to be Dana White.
Did you make your own company or did you pick one?
I've done both. Like I've imported it. I think my favorite one was I made my own company, and it was affiliated with WWE. And this is like at the beginning of last year or something. And I just here it is. I'm gonna have like an invitational tournament. I'm gonna get the best wrestlers around the world. I got Kenny Omega. I got freaking John Cena. And I had like this one-off tournament, and I had pay-per-view, and I sold out WrestleMania. And then at the very end, I had I think it was Kenny Omega versus AJ Styles. And I had the winner, and then I had a run-in by Daniel Bryant saying, I'm going to be your final opponent in a retirement match. And Daniel lost. And I just wrote that. And I loved it. I got an A+ rating for it. And it was just fun to write all this stuff.
Okay. Damn.
So tell me when 2K Sports can do all that crap.
Well, I mean, the closest they got is their GM mode, and I don't know what they're going to be doing with the universe mode, if it is actually going to incorporate GM mode or if it's going to be replaced by it. We don't know. We're still waiting on certain details to come through. But since Danny's the one who's been so vocal about his dislike for the gameplay, I have to ask you. It was what would you do to change up the series? What would you do? You have the keys to the kingdom. What you got?
Oh, well then. Honestly, this is just personal for me. I'd dial back the realism a little bit because I think they went a little too crazy with it. Wrestling is a bit glamorous and crazy, and they've just dialed into the slow, plodding pace of a real wrestling match so much that it's just not really fun to play. The AI doesn't respond well. All of the animations seem to be the same year after year after year. I'm sick of seeing the same exact shit in every match. I would change all that, man. Also, I'm glad that they reworked the promo system because, oh my god, that was
that was bad.
It was hilarious, but it was the worst thing I'd ever seen in my life. It was so funny. The Undertaker would come out and cut a promo about the fans disrespecting him and he's done being the good guy. You fans are all fickle. And it's the Undertaker with his goddamn robe on. Just look at the fucking Undertaker cutting a petty ass promo.
Yeah. well, since you brought that up, those are things that they really do need to make work, because that is true that it feels like especially compared to when THQ had to handle the franchise, they spent more time trying to get a lot of the wrestlers' personalities to be just so when they were controlled outside of what the player was when they were non-player characters. So yeah, I don't want to see, as you say, the Undertaker come out and just be the fans don't like me. They really need to tap into
promos are terrible.
Yeah, the promos are still bad.
The writing on the promos are so bad.
You should know how to write for people outside of it'd be different if they were writing for a created character and they just didn't seem to get what you were going for them, right? But they're writing for Sami Zayn and AJ Styles, and it all sounds the same.
But it doesn't even sound good. Like, it's not even like a good promo for anybody.
Yeah,
like, there's not a single like line in there that was like a good promo for anybody. It's all so forced and corny. It was like they hired Hobson to write the promos.
Oh, don't hate on Hobson because, bruh, you're 30 and you're still talking about how girls don't like you because you're bad.
Did the guy who invented college go to college? Think about it.
I can't believe that was an actual line. I know what he was going for, but again, Hobson, you're 30.
Think about it, man.
Come on, bro. But like if I had
music,
what?
Hobson.
Yeah, he's
a rapper.
I know who Hobson is. I'm just like, he's still doing it? Wow.
Yeah, he's still doing it, and it's just still the same gimmick. So he's basically the Dolph Ziggler of hip hop.
Oh my god.
But like, since we're still on the topic of what we would do to change it, like I would love to make those changes, but mine are like little minute changes that I think if you expand upon them would be just enough to make the game feel much more dynamic. Like, for instance, I would love in career mode, you're able to name and have your finishing move and your signature called out by the announcers. That's one. And since we're sticking on it, they had a grading system. Why not go full on RPG and allow yourself to upgrade your finishers to the point where when you start doing them more and you start progressing them from a D ranking to an A ranking, the crowd gets much more popular when you get them off. The announcing gets much more popular when you get them off, and they become much more deadly to your opponent. Like just those two things that I would love to see, since they're going to continue with this RPG career mode thing that they're going.
Hell yeah.
just blank.
I think we need a topic. Yeah. We're tired.
Yeah, we're starting to get towards the end. Yeah, our final topic actually is going to be, since we're going to be gearing up for TakeOver and SummerSlam, we're going to be looking at an estimated 11 hours of wrestling content from Saturday and Sunday this upcoming week. Oh my god. And most of the time we're going to be I'm so tired. In calls during this time. We're going to be talking to each other during this time. This might as well be our fourth job.
Oh my god, man. I already got 3 jobs.
But
I even like 2 of them.
TakeOver is coming. The only thing we need to know, we're going to be focusing on for this one is, what do you expect to be happening for the go-home shows for Raw, SmackDown, and NXT on the way to TakeOver and SummerSlam? Do you think anything's going to be resolved or anything new is going to be brought up?
Yeah, Sasha Banks is going to win tomorrow in Boston. Dingo and I are going to be there live, and it's going to be sick. It's going to rule so hard. And then she'll beat Charlotte at SummerSlam. I don't know. Or she'll beat Alexa Bliss at SummerSlam, probably. They need to start solidifying some goddamn matches for this show, though. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
They really... It's SummerSlam. We were talking...
Well, they have a bunch.
But we were talking big call about, like, what's on the show? We couldn't even think of it at first. We couldn't even think of it. We were like, well, there's the Universal title, there's the 4-way,
We were.
What else is there?
Yeah, and even while we were talking about it, it's like no explicit match was so exciting. It was like, well, maybe Brock Lesnar.
The Fatal 4-way is
that Fatal 4-way is going to be hot.
Yeah,
but it's SummerSlam. It should be more than a one-man show.
Exactly.
Yeah. There's the Shield are getting back together, and I mean, is that even official yet?
No.
Okay. No, I think that's going to be made official on Raw because I heard
a week before Sam.
Yeah,
well, I mean, it's only 2/3 of the Shield ever.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's still like a big deal.
They can bring back the 4th member of Shield, Chris Hero.
God!
Yeah, he was supposed to be
Shield.
He was supposed to be in the Roman Reigns.
He was supposed to be in the Shield.
It'd be really funny to see these three no, never mind. Fuck it.
Hilarious to see Hero just standing next to these you have super buff Roman Reigns
guys. Yeah, but Dean Ambrose ruins it. I was gonna say these 3 jacked guys, and then I was like, oh, there's Dean.
It's
Dean's there.
Oh yeah, there's greasy Dean. But I usually try to steer away from bringing up too many rumors. But so far, I did hear one of the rumors is going to be that Sheamus is going off to film something. So there's a good chance that Dean and Seth might end up having a match at SummerSlam if it hasn't already been solidified now, but having a match for the titles, if not at SummerSlam, but soon, and possibly having a run with the belts. So chances are that might be something that happens on the horizon. It might be something that gets started up at Raw, and it might get finalized at SummerSlam, or if not that, then the next pay-per-view for Raw.
A lot of what the Shield did that was great, like, did have to do with Roman, but it had to do with all 3 of the guys. Like, Roman hit some awesome spots in every single match.
Yeah, he did.
They wrapped a nice bow on what they had already built. I mean, I'm just like, I can't help but be pumped about Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose actually doing something that they should be good at, even as faces. Do you guys remember when the Shield turned face and were just putting on insane matches on the regular?
Yeah.
Like, it was the
Oh
one
god, yeah, the
time where I
Shield
was
versus
like,
Wyatt.
it worked perfectly. The Shield being guys you could root for worked perfectly because it wasn't forced down your throat, and it was just awesome matches. They got to wrestle exciting. Oh, it was great. So it's just like to have like even a glimmer of that back, as opposed to what Rollins and Dean are doing right now. It'd be great if Dean could somehow work his way back into my good graces after just constant badness. It would be amazing. Because I want to root for Dean, because I loved Dean in the Shield.
Yeah,
So
Dean was also in the Shield.
that's something that I am excited about for SummerSlam. It hasn't been announced yet, of course, but like that'll be a good match at SummerSlam. The 4-way will be good. Kevin Owens and AJ Styles. What are they building that around? Like
Kevin Owens and AJ Styles. They don't need to build anything around. They're awesome.
No, but they are building it around something else. They're building it around Shane McMahon as a guest referee.
I think so.
I think it's going to be
is.
eventually Kevin Owens versus Shane at some point.
Yeah.
Why can't we just have a good one-on-one match at SummerSlam? It's SummerSlam.
Yeah, true that. Because here is the match card so far that I got from shout out to Cage Side Seats. It is that fatal 4-way. You got Naomi versus Natalia. That's a thing.
That is certainly a thing.
Do you think we're going to get a cash in though?
TBD.
I think you're going to have that match and you'll get a cash in.
I don't think we're going to get a cash in yet. You think so?
I think it's possible.
It's possible.
That'd be cool.
But then again, that's like, it's going to happen sometime. So it's going to be a possibility the longer and longer this thing goes. Then we also have Alexa Bliss versus TBD. Most likely going to be Sasha Banks.
It's going to be Sasha.
I don't see why you would have heel versus heel in Alexa Bliss versus Nia Jax. Like,
you never do heel versus heel especially on a pay-per-view.
Especially in Boston, man. They're going to main event that tomorrow. Like, I guarantee you, they're going to main event that.
Then we got Jinder Mahal versus Shinsuke, which is probably going to be good just because of Shinsuke. Tozawa versus Neville should be really good, though.
Will it? It'll be good for 10 minutes.
See,
all they need.
See, bruh.
You could have 20 minutes.
You're not wrong, but you ain't right. You're not wrong, but you ain't right. That's what that is right now.
It'll be a good 10-minute match between guys who could easily go 20 or more.
I don't know if Ginger can go 20.
No,
we're talking about Tozawa and Neville.
Oh, my bad. I don't know. I'm reading the wrong freaking card here. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, then we got New Day versus the Usos, which is always going to be a solid. They're always going to be solid.
Oh yeah, they're always going to have their matches.
And then they opened up the last show, and it was really a really great opener.
They set the tone for the show.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So there's that, and then we have, for whatever reason, Orton Rusev.
Gonna suck.
Yeah, I don't get that match.
Yeah,
I don't understand that.
I'm ready for Randy to go away for a while.
Bring him behind the shed.
Break his arm or something, his shoulder.
Bring Randy behind the shed, dude.
Go take the trash out and take a 3-month break.
Well, I mean, he can't take Danny out.
What might be a sleeper match, if only just because of Cena, is Cena Corbin.
Yeah, I will definitely fall asleep during that match.
No, I think just because it's Cena and Cena has been on a tear,
Yeah.
good matches out of everybody. I think Cena could get a great match out of Corbin.
Cena can pull a good match out of anybody, but is Corbin going to be the guy to motivate him to go out there and do it?
Probably
I don't
not
think
Corbin.
Cena needs the motivation. I think it's going to be Corbin that needs the motivation.
But I don't think Corbin is going to be the one to do it, though.
But no, I'm saying like I don't think I'm admittedly way lower on Corbin than most people. I just don't think Corbin's good. So I don't get excited for Corbin. I just can't.
All right.
Also, Cena works well against guys who are kind of like smaller and faster than him.
Okay,
Like he's done good work against guys who are bigger than him, but like Corbin.
But like they're big and good. That's kind of
I don't think Corbin's good.
I think Corbin steals this one. I do, because what like after all the crap that they've given him, if Corbin doesn't win this match, he becomes the latest "I was buried by John Cena" youth. I don't
even think that it's going to be so much that. It's just the fact that you have Corbin who is holding the briefcase, and he's lost to Nakamura, and if he loses to Cena, then we're going to have a Damian Sandow kind of situation where it's like, okay, you have the briefcase, but we the fans know that WWE is not high on you.
Just because you have the briefcase doesn't mean you should lose like every match. It seems like he's losing all of his feuds, and like on paper, like losing to John Cena isn't a burial. Like it's John Cena at SummerSlam.
But how many talents have been buried by Cena?
Recently or just overall? Because recently none.
Yeah,
recently none. But like overall, yeah, a lot of them has. But like that is now a criticism that doesn't fit John Cena over the past 3 years, I want to say.
Yeah, I think Cena's doing good. But I'm just saying, like, it's not even about Cena. Like, I'm just saying, like, losing to Cena isn't a burial. You're losing to one of the top guys in the company. But you're also putting him in another feud where if he loses, it's another feud he lost. He lost to Shinsuke. He lost to Cena. So now you have the guy with the briefcase who just is... His momentum is on a huge downswing. I don't buy into that just because he has the briefcase, you should treat him like shit. You should put him in a winnable feud. Like, or if you're going to put him in there with Cena, have him win. Like, if you're putting him in this situation, he shouldn't lose. He really shouldn't.
If they weren't giving Dolph Ziggler a potential break and a repackaging, I think it would have been perfect to have Ziggler be the foil for this. I mean, yeah, we would have been feeding, Ziggler into a situation where he continues to lose, but at least you're giving Corbin a boost in some way, shape, or form, and it feels credible here. Unless he beats Cena, which I don't see happening, unless there's some shenanigans going on. Unless he beats Cena, why does he have the briefcase? And when he cashes in and potentially has the title, it's basically a countdown until he loses it, because he's not credible yet. He was great when he was facing like your Kalisto and again your Zigglers and just being this bully. He worked perfectly. But then you gave him the briefcase and then had him lose. And there's been no resolution for him. There's been no positive resolution, I should say. And now it's just a matter of what is next for Baron Corbin if he loses this match. Is it going to be a situation? Is it going to be like what they did with Mr. Kennedy, where he win Money in the Bank and then relinquish the briefcase in the match?
Yeah,
and that's why I have to say that I agree that I don't think he's going to cash in right now because of that right there.
He needs to be made more credible. So
he does, and I don't think right now is the time. I just don't think right now is the time. So I don't think he's going to cash in for that reason.
Look at the top guys on SmackDown and then tell me you'd rather have Baron Corbin as the champion.
No,
no, not at all. Not at all. I'm sorry, I don't. No.
Like, who are the top 4 on SmackDown, right? It's Shinsuke, AJ, Kevin Owens, John Cena. I'd rather have all of them as champion over Corbin.
Versus Baron Corbin. Yeah.
Yeah, at the same time. The new NWO. Or like Great Khali and Jinder. Oh my god, you know what I just realized? I didn't even include Jinder as a top guy. And he's the goddamn champion.
I didn't.
I wasn't even a conscious effort. Like, I wasn't even listing like contenders. I was just thinking like, oh, who are the biggest stars on SmackDown?
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, I didn't mention Orton either, but that was out of like hatred. Like,
Yeah.
But Jinder, oh my god.
Next match on the card, of course, this is in no actual order, is Big Show and Big Cass.
Ugh.
So this is going to be the match that we end up drinking on.
The Battle of the Bigs.
Battle of the Big Man.
Well,
Then we have.
It's like that's going to be the entire match. It's just going to be back and forth. Well, and then you're like, well.
Well, all right. How about this? Over under on the ring breaking.
It's not.
No, Big Cass is not that hefty, so I'm going to say
The only way that this happens, the only way that the ring breaks is if they are the main event. And if that happens again, because they were the main event on a Raw, if this happens at SummerSlam, I'm going to tear my hair out.
What, you don't think Battle of the Bigs is main event worthy?
Our next match is Finn Balor versus Bray Wyatt, because I'm not answering that question at all.
Z. Another sleeper.
But the
Finn
Battle of the
Balor versus
Bigs.
Bray Wyatt. No, Finn Balor versus Bray Wyatt might end up being pretty damn good.
Hold on.
There's no reason it exists, but I think it'll be good.
I'm going to be the mathematician again. Are you ready for this? I'm bringing it back.
Oh, God.
Okay, so there are 2 participants in this match, right?
Mm-hmm.
2. One of them is Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt, I don't think he's had an exciting match in many months. So that's half of the match that's already bad. So I think that the likelihood of it being a good match not very high.
Before you continue, who was Bray Wyatt's previous feuds?
Let's see. We have Cena,
forgettable stuff. Cena.
Orton.
The last actual feud, the last actual one-on-one feud he had was Orton.
And we all know how well that turned out.
That was pretty bad from both of them. But
I'm saying though, it was still Orton. So you could take the whole he hasn't had it. Well, then again, wasn't he in that multi-man match with Roman Reigns, Finn Balor, Samoa Joe to figure out the number 1 contender? And that was a pretty good match, and he worked well with them. That was a pretty exciting match, and the build up to that match with the matches that he had with those participants were pretty good. So I can't agree with you.
See, I can bring my math into it again. Okay,
I can't agree with you on that.
Finn is good. Finn is one half of the match, right? In that 4-person match, 75% of the match was good. So it had a 75% chance of being good. Now it's 50-50. And naturally, I'm a natural pessimist, so I'll say no. It's going to be bad.
You're an ass. Wow. Okay. You know what? I'll allow it. You have convinced me, sir. Because that's some heel logic there. That's some heel wrestling logic there.
True.
But it's still logical. It makes sense. I understand that.
I follow my my master Scott Steiner, the ultimate mathematician.
Oh man. But anyway, we got TakeOver this upcoming weekend. We're going to have a broadcast, our Smashcast for the pay-per-view predictions happening on Friday. So be ready for that.
Mm-hmm.
We're also going to have a drink menu set up. We're going to put that on the HEELKAIJU.com website to give y'all a chance to make your own drinks, make your own wrestling themed drinks, and have your own little watch party. Even if you're just going to be in our Discord chat listening to us wax philosophical about them grapples.
Can I give everybody a teaser of one of the drinks?
Yes.
Okay,
No,
it's for the
don't feed
okay.
him.
The Big Cass versus Big Show match, right? All right, so you're gonna get the Bigs match, right? You're gonna get a big tall glass. You're gonna go look in your pantry, get bleach. You're gonna pour bleach.
You're trying to kill people.
Exactly. He's doing them a favor. He's doing them a favor.
You call that the Bigs.
The Battle of the Bigs. If you can make it to your phone to call the CDC and get you some help in time, you win the Battle of the Bigs. But yeah, I think that's it for us tonight. That's honestly that went a little bit more seamlessly than our first technical one, and this was a lot of fun. A lot longer than I was expecting too.
How long did we go?
About 2 hours.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. We trucked it right along, and it didn't feel like we were dragging. That was great. But
Hell no.
before we sign off, is there anything else that y'all want to say before we give our goodbyes?
No, man, let's do the SummerSlam.
Wow. Okay. I didn't need that, Daria.
Let's.
She's like, yay, let's go SummerSlam. It's like, no, I didn't ask you to cheer. The
I was
audience.
trying to help people get pumped for it.
I thought you had like something that we might have missed or anything. It was like, no, let's go SummerSlam.
No, I'm trying to get people pumped.
Be aggressive. Like, no, Daria. Please
There's
don't.
a couple things. What's it called? Dingo and I are going to be attending Raw tomorrow, so that should be a lot of fun.
They'll be holding hands and wearing matching shirts.
I swear to God, I'm smuggling it.
You're my best friend.
Dingo, do you want to get Titus shirts together?
I would get the Titus shirt.
You want to get a Titus shirt?
Ooh, you gotta get a Titus shirt.
Take a picture, yes.
Y'all better hear y'all barking.
We're gonna
You better go ooh.
Dingo's a sweetheart in real life. Dingo, I've thought about it. I think we should get good
Oh my God,
seats.
did you think about it?
We should get good seats, Dingo.
We should get good, like totally, like get the best
You think
seats
like
ever.
if we get close enough, like we'll be able to get hit by Roman's like wetness?
Oh my God,
Roman
like
my God.
is so sweat.
Oh God.
We can
Okay,
sing
you
his
know
theme
what?
song
You know
together.
what?
Roman
No.
Reigns.
This was a
scream,
mistake.
Roman!
Wrestling was a mistake. This podcast
Going
was a
and
mistake.
matching lumps together.
Soak me wet, father!
Oh God, no!
God.
Good night, everybody. Good night. Y'all have a great night out there.
Daria, do the
Good night.
AJ. Do the AJ thing.
Oh
You've
God,
been
no!
styled by AJ Style. Bye, guys.
We're done. It's subordinate and churlish. Good night.
Oh God.